Hey everyone, welcome to the Costume Jewelry Chronicles with Lynn and Carrie. Each episode we will feature a new vintage costume jewelry designer and talk a little bit about jewelry reselling. We hope you enjoy. Good morning everyone. It is January 21st and we are in the jewelry call talking about Hollycraft today. This one's another one of my favorites. It's such beautiful stuff, but I don't know that it's real easy to find, but I do find piece here and there. So, it's at least mentioning so that if you're out and about, you can recognize it right away. And some of the pieces do have really good value. So let's jump into my little presentation, then we'll do questions afterwards. This is not real long. But let me share my screen. Talking Hollycraft, which was established in 1936. Some places have said 1938, so it was by designer Joseph Chorbachon. I'm probably butchering that name, but Chorbachon probably. And he produced the company called Hollywood Jewelry Manufacturing Company, long name, Incorporated. And this is not to be confused with Joseph of Hollywood or Hollywood Jewelry Manufacturing that was in Birmingham, England. So this is a little complex one. And this was out of New York. The other one was in England. Let me go back. They were rebranded to Hollycraft in 1948. And that makes things a little bit easier for them, I think, because they got rid of that Hollywood name because there's multiple companies out there with the Hollywood name. And then they closed their operations in the late 70s. But Hollycraft was a key competitor to brands like Trifari, Coro, Hobey, them type. So the styles that they used were lavish, multicolored rhinestones, and they were in symmetrical and floral motifs. They had Victorian revival styles and Renaissance inspired designs, and romantic and intricate aesthetic with antique finishes. All the pieces that I've seen almost all have this antique gold finish. And when I think of Hollycraft, I do think of intricate, like these pieces you see here. The colors that they used were like their rainbow rhinestone palettes, and they featured vibrant jewel tones. They had pastels and earth tones and metallics, depending on the collection. And the shapes that they used were floral and botanical shapes. They had clustered stone arrangements and intricate geometric designs for their brooches and earrings. And the materials that they used were high quality, and they used in their rhinestones, they had chatons, navettes, and baguettes, which you see right here is a couple baguettes. And they were mostly glued into the settings, but I have seen where they use prongs on the bigger stones. So majority of their smaller stones are all glued in. They used faux pearls, and that was usually as accents, like you see here on these earrings. Their finishes were, like I said, gold tone, silver tone, and antique metal finishes. They used a thicker plating in the 1960s so that their pieces from that time frame don't show as much wear. And enameling they used, like on this piece here, for colorful accents on certain collections. And they used fold-over clasps, like this one here, and hook closures. And their necklaces, they often had these 4-drop like rhinestones. This one had 6, which was kind of unusual because almost all the other necklaces I've seen have these 4 drops. And that's kind of a signature piece or signature thing for Hollycraft. And their fold-over clasps, a lot of them have these separate little rhinestone accent pieces right alongside the clasp. Their necklaces were intricate, floral, and they used a lot of the pendants, like on this one over here, in kind of this different shape too, with ornate settings and vintage-inspired designs. This Revere style necklace was a series of stones linked together in a single strand, creating an elegant and continuous line of sparkle. Their bracelets were large, eye-catching, in floral and Victorian motifs and intricate stonework. And their brooches were large, a lot of times eye-catching, and again in the floral and Victorian motifs. Their earrings, they did screwbacks and clip-ons in clusters and drop designs, like you see here. And they had special occasion collections. Their holiday themed ones. They did about 10 to 15 Christmas trees, and I just popped up 5 of them here for you. And I love this deer brooch. It's so cute. It was kind of a different one. Joseph was responsible for starting this vast Christmas tree collection, and he designed jewelry until 1980 for them. And these pieces were often part of a limited seasonal release, and most were during their active years during the 1950s and 60s. The jewelry marks. Now, this one, we're dealing with the the triple name of Hollywood. When I say that there's so many different Hollywood jewelry manufacturing companies that it was hard to determine if this was actually Hollycraft's mark in the early years, because they started off doing Hollywood for a short time, maybe about 10 years, and then they switched it over to the Hollycraft name and started using Hollycraft on theirs. So that particular Hollywood mark is questionable. It's the early mark of either Hollycraft or of the England-based Hollywood company. In 1948, when they switched their name over to Hollycraft, they started using these hang tags. And this is the clearest picture I could find of these. So apparently they're pretty rare. On the left, it says Hollycraft. And on the right, it says created by Hollywood Manufacturing, New York. And let's see, that began, let's see, that was in, let me make sure, 1948, but then that only lasted 2 years. And then in 1950, they started stamping their items like this, which I think is great. I think every manufacturing company should mark their pieces like this. It would make our lives today a lot easier, because you can say this piece is from 1950, this one's from 1953, and this one's from 55. It's just a great way to mark your pieces. And that lasted till I want to say 1959. Many of them were marked, but not all were marked like this from 1950 to 1959. And then in 1955, they decided to start using the copyright symbol and just chopped off the date and started using Hollycraft on a majority of their pieces. Now, some of them other pieces are still being marked again up until 1959, so you'll still see some of them out there. And not all Hollycraft jewelry was signed. And this is just kind of a summary of what we just talked about. These are the start dates of when these, obviously, when they started. And some things to know about Hollycraft is that they actually produced jewelry for Kramer, Tammy Jewels, which I've never heard of,
I listed one
Papula.
this morning,
Oh, did you
and
really?
I'd never heard of that brand before. Yep,
Well, now we know Hollycraft designed for them. I don't know if they made their own, because I've never heard of them before until
I
now.
hadn't either.
And Weiss was also produced by Hollycraft, some of them. And then again, oh, not to be confused with the Hollywood Jewelry Products, which was another company that started in 1939. So thank God they switched their name to Hollycraft is all I can say. And
No
that is
kidding.
it. That's all I have.
Yeah, let me see. I had never heard of that brand. I'm like, what is up with this? And it was a big butterfly. I'd never heard of it before, so I learned something to help me today.
Was it signed?
Hmm.
Is it a piece you have?
Yeah, yep. I could share the listing too. It was this morning because I was like, wow, this is a really big and then I saw the signature on it and I was like, I have never seen this signature before. Share my screen. I've got some solds for us. When I think of Hollycraft, I always think of the pastel palettes.
Yeah.
It seems like a lot of the ones I find are very pastel colored. I'll pull up that listing while I'm thinking of it. I don't know if I made it live or not, but I took the pictures this morning. There it is. I wrote Tammy Jewels. I spelled it wrong, but I was like, what is this? It's a huge butterfly. I haven't edited my pictures or anything yet, but it's the mark on the back. If I deleted it. Bring it back. There it is.
All right. So it does say Tammy Jewelry
Jewels. Yep.
or Jewels. Yeah.
Yep. What a
Cool.
coincidence for us.
I found a piece too. It's actually pyrite
Oh, it
this
is.
week and it's marked 1950. It's one of those 1954. Yeah.
Is that Hollycraft or was that the Tammy Jewels?
No, it was Hollycraft.
I had never seen that Tammy Jewels before this morning, so
I've
all
never
right.
seen it.
I was confused. So I think that this color palette is what I think of when I think of Hollycraft. I see
Yes.
it must just be the more common color. And I always think of them when I see the different shapes of rhinestones. I feel like they played a lot with the different shapes and how they set them kind of at an angle and different. And then in between the rhinestones, they'll have different, just different lines and different. But this color reminds me a lot of Hollycraft. I don't know that I've come across a Hollycraft bracelet. If I do, I don't see them very often. So, um, yeah, there's a bracelet and it sold for $68. I would say a lot of the Hollycraft you find is going to be in the 30 to 55 range, seems to be pretty common. This is that store you found, I think, Lynn. This
Yeah.
she only sells Hollycraft. I do think her prices are pretty strong compared to if just you or I throw things up, but she had some good examples of some jewelry. So there's again the same palette with the different shapes in between. They're all set kind of different. The color's good. She needs
She
to quit
tends to
watermarking.
have like whole sets of Hollycraft, like
Mm-hmm.
the earrings, the bracelet, the necklace.
Mm-hmm. Um, Here's another clamper. It's the same as the other one, but this one brought $90 and it was missing a stone. Both of them were on auction. So always when you're price comping, make sure you look to see if it was on auction or buy it now, because it's going to affect the price a little bit. This one's gorgeous. I don't know that I've seen
Wow.
a Hollycraft with that, the cool art glass.
No, that's unusual.
So that's why I picked this one because I have not ever seen it, and it's the hinge clamper.
In the title, it's called out as stones, but in fact, it's man-made glass beads. Is that an issue?
No, because
No,
they're
I don't think so.
rhinestones. Yeah, they're rhinestones. I call them stones.
So there's no, what's kind of the guidelines for using the word stone?
Well, in the item specifics, if it said stone, that would be an issue.
Okay.
But I think in the title, if you call them stones, they could be referring to rhinestones. Don't you, Lynn?
Yeah, I totally agree. Beads to me makes me think cheaper for some reason. Stones makes me think of better quality, but as far as the guidelines go, I don't think there's AIs out searching for that.
Well, and it's not a gemstone. It doesn't say gemstone, and gemstone is what they could get you on like a regular stone. They're not going to go like stick anything on their teeth or anything, which I may or may not do all the time. There's another bracelet. Like I said, I wonder, and these are bringing decent money. These can't be super prevalent because I just don't find the Hollycraft flavors. So I don't know that they're as common as maybe the brooches and the necklaces are. Either that or I just don't find them. This one was pretty neat. The pictures
Could
are
use a
something to
little
be
better
desired.
pictures.
Yeah, I'm still about $100, but yeah, I agree with you. It's a pretty well made, cool bracelet. So Gina asked, rhinestones can be glass, plastics, and enamel. So here's my take on that. I went down this rabbit hole one day, right? Because I do get rhinestones that I'm like, are these true glass, cut glass? If you look at different sources, you will get different answers on this. Some of them say it's the cut, some of them say it has to be cut glass, some of them say. So I feel like rhinestones, for the most part, you should feel like they're glass, but sometimes we get the rhinestones, that you just aren't sure. What do you think, Lynn? Because some of those brooches that people say are rhinestones are very lightweight. Like they're not fully cut glass. They can't be, or they'd be really heavy.
Right. I don't use rhinestones unless it's glass. That's just a personal thing. You do see like faceted plastic uh, beads. I'd call them beads because they look like rhinestones, like you said. They're flat on the bottom. Rhinestones to me has the point on the bottom, it's glass. It doesn't necessarily have to have the point, but it is glass to me.
But like when I was like an example this morning, I listed one. So it's hard to see, but see like that, right? That's what people would call a rhinestone. It's a rhinestone brooch, but it's not. It cannot be. So these blue ones cannot be glass or it'd be super heavy. It's not heavy. But when you see these listed, they're always rhinestone brooches. But it's not. When you get a real cut glass rhinestone brooch, like they're super heavy, they feel like quality, and they're different than ones like this. So I get hung up on that too. I never really like. I call this a rhinestone brooch. Are those blue stones rhinestones? I don't think so. I mean, they're not cut glass rhinestones. I call them rhinestones. I don't know. I'm not
Yeah,
really sure either.
I agree with Meg saying that if it's plastic, she wouldn't use stone in the title either, and I
No, I
wouldn't
would not.
either.
I would not. Nope. Yeah, so I put rhinestones, but in the item specifics, I do not put glass. I did not put glass on that one. If I get a really heavy duty one that I could tell it's cut glass rhinestones, I will put glass or as an item specific. So, and if I know that the if like so like those blue ones, they're not like the cheap acrylic. Like I know exactly what you're talking about, Lynn. Those ones that are, and a lot of them are in the older brooches they're plastic, right? And the edges wear off and all that good stuff. I will put in the description, just like it was a flaw, these stones appear to be acrylic. But like this blue one, I don't know. I think people just call them rhinestone brooch. It's not a cheap acrylic. I don't know. Falls under the mystery of I'm not sure, and I just roll with it. And I don't know. I buy ones like that people call rhinestone brooches all the time, and it's fine. Um, Gina, if we can all figure out all of the intricacies of all this, we'll be millionaires because I'm not sure anybody always knows the all the time things. If I'm really not sure, I will pipe up and just say I'm not sure. I agree with the stone in the title. I would not, like in that blue one, I would not put stones in the title. Now these, if you've held the Hollycraft jewelry, you know that I do believe they were cut glass. At least the ones I brought across. I think they are. They're very heavy, well made.
I doubt that Hollycraft ever used any plastic stones,
I don't think so either.
plastic beads. Sorry.
Yeah, I don't think so either. And she sells a lot for having horrific title structure. I'm just saying. Good on her, but her title structures are very bad. No, Gina, we all have those mysteries of like, oh, is this right? Is this wrong? And we can just do what we, as long as we're not being misleading. I'm never being misleading on purpose. Here's another one of those. It reminds me of the dragons, like what are those called? Like the Easter egg or dragon's glass or
Dragon's breath.
yeah, or
Breath.
and then in Juliana they call them the Easter egg brooches and they usually have stippling on top or whatever. That kind of really reminds me of that. This one
Yeah,
brought
it does.
$145. I would love to find this. That would be a nice find, I think. But yeah, their stuff was really well made and I feel like it probably was too, but then there's me over here with the flimsy blue rhinestone brooch that's probably not even glass. I don't know. Do you don't find the bracelets a lot either, Lynn?
No, I hardly find Hollycraft just on occasion, and it's most of the time just a brooch
Yeah, I find the brooches.
or earrings.
Yeah, I've had the earrings too. This one was pretty unique looking. Like this doesn't scream Hollycraft. I wonder if it'll show us the signature, if it's not maybe one of the ones that, oh, it says Hollycraft. That one's a little bit more unusual than, at least it just doesn't, it's not what I'd see on a table and go, oh, that's a Hollycraft piece. And it brought
Exactly.
169.99, which is probably why. It's pretty cool. Here's a pair of earrings. The earrings in general by themselves in Hollycraft do not bring, they're not like one of the $100 pair of earrings type things, but they can be overlooked because these are fairly ordinary, fairly plain looking earrings. And 50 bucks. I'll list clip-on earrings for 50 bucks all
But
day long.
but if you look at that, if you're looking at the top of that, it's like the stones are so tiny and inset, and they're surrounded by wire framing.
They're well
It's just
made
different than like your typical cluster earrings.
for sure. Yep. Hollycraft's like that in general. Like even the necklaces, if you look at them, they're the same way. They have that scrolling in between the stones and here's another pair, 50 bucks. I kind of feel like and see in the backs, they're just in the foiling. I feel like they use better foiling than some of the brands because when I've had Hollycraft with the foiling on the back, they don't seem to be worn off quite like a lot of the brands you see. So they do sell really well, Meg. I agree. This one's really neat. They're the dangle ones. The colors are all really nice. There's a brand. There's what Lynn was talking about with the brand with the dates. I also agree it would be really nice if everything we bought was like that. I would be really appreciative if they did that for us. Um, there they put 1957 in the title. Again, it's that same color palette. I think most of us would look at a table and be able to go, ooh, that one's Hollycraft. Very much about pastels. These are pretty small. I think I've had these exact ones. They're pretty small compared to a lot of them. And there you see the backs have changed. The logo has changed to the spelled out Hollycraft without any dates. Those are some pretty ones. They have the opalescent rhinestones. They took nice pictures. There's the back. This is the most common signature I see, I guess, and it's just the kind of metal it's on. Like, I've had them with the dates too, but that's pretty common way
Yeah,
you'll
or
find them.
it's like colored in, like the antiqued gold it
Yeah,
colors in and makes it stand out more.
yep. I wish everybody did that too.
Hmm.
Much easier would that be? Um, there's another set of earrings. These brought $79, so are they even signed? I don't think they're signed. Maybe somebody just really liked them.
Unsigned.
Brought more than the signed ones. Go figure. I thought this was probably my favorite thing that I saw when I was looking for these. Um,
That's gorgeous.
it's gorgeous. They used Austro-Hungarian as keywords, which was probably really smart. probably a little keyword spamming because it's probably not Austro-Hungarian. However, it definitely looks it. I don't think Hollycraft was, but I could be wrong. That's got the mesh, it's like the chains, but it looks like mesh. Just a gorgeous. So when I see, so this set brought pretty good money. This set's probably pretty good. But I see $120 bill, I see $60 bill, I see $150, I see another $150, that's what I see when I see that picture.
Shame on you.
Hey, you're gonna be proud of me though. I did not split that Trifari set. And I'll show it to you. And I still might. It's bothering me. It's making me a little itchy. These are light blue. This one's missing a little stone. I have noticed that the real little ones on the outside, probably just from wear. When I've gotten Hollycraft, they've had the same issue, but I don't think anybody cares as long as you disclose it. This is a case of where one earring's signed and the other one isn't. There's different brands you'll see that do that. That's no big deal. There they show the missing stone. These only brought $15, but maybe they only asked 15 for it too. Here's a $30 pair. I don't mind less than $30 earrings either. I actually really like list and clip-ons. I think they're easy. This is a beautiful necklace. I really believe they could have got more money for this.
89? Oh, no way. That would have been
Yeah.
over 100.
Yes, I agree with that. I would price that probably like $129.99 maybe. Maybe even more.
Oh, I was
Maybe
thinking
$149.
more.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree. It's a beautiful necklace. A beautiful color palette, terrible pictures. I don't know what they're doing. Not a great choice for colors, but yeah, I definitely would ask for more money on this too. Nice necklace. This one was very unique, I thought. Like the cabochons are different than what you usually see.
Mm-hmm.
It,
It's a geometric variation.
yeah, very different. So I try to pick things that maybe we don't always see, and things that are just a little more unique. This is a very, obvious Hollycraft. You'd see it sitting on the table and go, oh, that's a Hollycraft necklace. It's a very nice condition. That's something I noticed. Yes, some of the little bits of rhinestones sometimes are missing on these. And yes, sometimes you get that little bit of a wear, but in general, they keep their look. Like they keep their quality is still there. They don't get that, like when Coro wears off, it just wears off badly. This really doesn't. This is
Probably because they do it in antiqued gold, it doesn't show as much.
I think it ages well. It's built to age well. I agree
Yes.
with that. Yep.
And they
Beautiful
did, like
queen.
I said, they did use a thicker coating in the 60s. So maybe that has
I
something to do
believe
with it
that.
too.
All of us can tell you a brand that and how it ages. Like the Coro, you'll get that ugly old glue look, and their metal wears badly. Some of it, not all Coro, but some of it just wears badly. But
It's
do
thin.
remember when you're selling things, collectors know that. Like collectors of old Coro thermosets and stuff, they know that they have that glue issue. So just disclose it and sell it anyway. Don't just throw it in the garbage can. Like they know that. This one, nice sets. You don't usually see the whole sets, or I don't anyway. I definitely don't find them like that. But I thought that was a nice brooch, and it's a nice necklace. I think they're from different time periods, but that doesn't really matter.
I was gonna say, I wonder if they're actually a set. I think they just go nicely together. And I think that's the one thing about Hollycraft is you could intermix a whole bunch of different
Hmm.
pieces together and they'd still probably look fine.
Yeah, this
Suzanne,
was a beautiful one.
I could see her doing that. I could see her having these.
This is a gorgeous set.
Yes.
I don't run into Hollycraft that often, and I may have one or two pieces, but it's they are beautiful. I'm looking at them and they're really nice, but it's just something that I guess I just don't see as much here.
Hmm.
This one I picked because it's pretty plain and it doesn't scream Hollycraft to me. I'm sure it feels good as far as quality when you pick it up, but it looks like a regular AB type necklace. So this one I feel like could get away from us.
That's the Revere necklace.
Oh,
I started looking up that word because I've never used it before, and it seems like people do use it.
this one
Probably
drove me
not,
nuts.
probably not too
Mm.
much, but
Like I feel like this would have pieced out, but she does have sets like this. So this lady's store is full of sets like this. Um,
she had it, it's 30% off. She had it at 185 and it
and it didn't
apparently
sell.
didn't sell.
Mm-hmm. Yipper. It's a
And you
pretty
think
good shape too.
she could have got more money splitting it?
I think so.
Mm-hmm. So I'll show you when I'm done with this. I'll show you the example of like that I actually kept a set together, which doesn't happen all that often. But I weighed my. I thought this was beautiful too. I think it would have done much better on a buy it now. It's unique. It's different. The settings are unique. The color is unique.
Beautiful.
It's gorgeous set.
And it is different. Like you said, it's got almost all purple stones for
And
Hollycraft.
the settings are a little different.
Yeah.
I like that set. I thought it was really cool. That one's pretty cool too. Root beer rhinestone vintage necklace. Look at the back's in great shape.
And look who's selling it.
Yeah,
Oh,
I need her plug is what I need.
Jeez, that's a beautiful necklace though.
That's one of my only ones I store stock a little bit. Here's a fruit salad, pastel fruit salad for sure. Gorgeous set. Super
Fruit
pretty.
salad refers to the combination of colors.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I saw a few different ones. I don't think I pulled up any, but that had referred to as, the Daughters of the Revolution colors, you know what I'm trying to say? Is it purple, green, and pink? Is that it? The ones that are
oh yeah.
I'm having a brain moment.
Yeah, I can't think of it either.
The suffragette
Yeah.
colors
Yes.
at a moment.
Let me look it up.
This one was pretty cool. I definitely would have pulled these apart because they're pretty unique. I see almost twice as much money if I would have pulled this one apart. I'm a jewelry home wrecker. Here's a really all green, and the glow, which doesn't seem to be a big selling point anymore. That fad kind of came and went pretty quick. People don't really seem to care anymore. But the suffragette color palette is another one they'll refer to. This one you can't even tell what color it is. Yeah, see, I bet if you
Wow.
put that in better lighting, look at that.
Oh,
It's
and
got
it's
those cool stones and you can't even tell.
mhm.
Those
The new
missing
seller.
stones are pretty substantial as far as the impact,
Yeah,
Right.
well,
but it's still sold for a lot. Jeez.
And they didn't put missing stones or anything in the title.
and they spelled brooch wrong. That's one of my favorite things to search for is brooch spelled wrong. Here's that same Hollycraft lady. 175 for that set. That was pretty solid. That one I thought brought decent money, but the shapes are different. That's a pretty unique piece.
That was cool.
Mm-hmm. I could see a collector wanting that. And a lot of times those pearls come out real bad. And those were in pretty good
Mhm.
shape. I mean, there's a few missing, but that one was probably one of my favorites. Stunning. Look at that. That is awesome. There they are circling all the missing stones. I was after I made my best sold of 2024 video or whatever, I didn't realize until the end that almost all of them were damaged ones. Almost all of them were ones that like had stuff wrong with them. Here's another 3-piece. This one brought really good money. But you got to ask the money to get it. So good for them. It was a good set. I wouldn't have gone to the antique store with my grandma. She would have bought that jewelry right out from underneath me. I wouldn't have had a chance. Very large collar necklace. Yep, again, I don't know why the prices go away on some of these, but they do. So I didn't care enough to. So this one I included because even though it's not big money and it's pretty plain, I mean, $60. Pretty decent price for that little bitty pearl brooch. There's a bow for 65. Just a little AB
That's
bow
pretty.
brooch. Their AB coating seems to wear well too. That one's really pretty, I thought. It's just a regular pastel, but it's in a different shape. They always had different, like it was either feathering around the outside or scroll work on the outside. Just a lot of good attention to detail. I will say that I do notice a lot of that, the base glue, that icky glue right there. I do see that pretty commonly in the Hollycraft, so that's not, see, it's around all of them. And people lots of times will see that and think it was a bad repair. I see it a lot on those. I find a lot of Hollycraft brooches, actually. Not so much, I've had a few necklaces, but I get a lot of the little brooches. So there's the little Saint Nick. He is kind of scary looking. He brought $72. Not amazing pictures. But he was kind of neat. There's a like real standard Japan rose brooch. It's not very big either. $76. There's a really pretty blue one. There's the back. Whatever coating they did use was very good because I love their backs are always really pretty. Well, keeps them in good shape. I'm going to see what it says for see details if there was something wrong with it. There's 6 stones missing on that.
Wow.
This one was also very cool. It was a different color palette, different shape than what you'd usually see. I would not look at that and guess the maker on this. Again, that coating's really nice. I wish all the old makers like that would have used that coating because things would have stayed in better shape. Here's a $79 Christmas tree. I have had a few of their Christmas trees and it always shocks me every time for some reason. I'm always like, what? They don't really look substantial at all. Trying to say if that hand was a good fake or a very soft regular hand. This one was a sapphire and lights. I personally would not use that word because I'm pretty sure it's not a real sapphire, but very pretty colors. The wire beadings, yeah, the beadings wired.
The clusters of pearls on that.
That one probably could have brought a little bit more. Here's our friend that's got the Hollycraft collector store. Do remember that eBay would frown on putting these letters and stuff on there. Although I listed something yesterday or this morning, yesterday, that had a letter with it. There was a letter talking about how after the Depression got better, their dad gave them each a little bit of money to go buy themselves something, and that's what they'd chosen. And it was a handwritten, really old letter with a piece of jewelry, and I included
I
that
think
with the
that's
piece
different.
because I thought it was
That's
cool.
different.
It wasn't
I
misleading.
mean, it's a, ephemera, basically. There's a whole category of ephemera that has writing on it, so.
Yep. I did include that. I thought it was kind of cool. I thought this was really pretty, different for Hollycraft. Pretty. There's another one of those. I love those stones. If I was going to collect something, I think
Like-
it would be those kind of stones.
Be like foil, confetti.
Mhm. Yeah. Art foil glass.
Yeah.
This is one of the things we saw in that big set.
And it's sold for 125.
So I'm splitting those sets apart.
And that set sold for like 250 or three.
Something like that, but it had a lot of pieces.
Yeah.
It had a lot of pieces. Here's another one of the little Christmas trees. $185.
Hmm.
Right?
Dang.
Yep. I've been shocked by a few Christmas trees I've gotten. And it's never the ones that are like really cool. And there is that little I don't think this is the exact one you had in your picture, Lynn, but it's one of the reindeers. $194.
it
And it's
is.
a charm. It's a little, oh, it's got the charm there is what they're talking about. Isn't it cool?
I love
So if
that
you
one.
see him sitting on a table, snatch him up. While I'm sharing my screen, I'll go in and share my best sold items for the week. I took an offer on this one, I think a 300. So but I hadn't had any offers on it over 150 since I got it. I did some research on this one. I paid $15 for this, which was a lot for me, I guess, to spend on something, but I was pretty sure I'd be okay on it. I did some research on this and I wasn't sure enough to put it in the title, but the consensus of the Native American groups and other is that it wasn't Native American. It was more of a Mexican. Or no, it was a white guy. It was an old white guy. I can't remember his name now, but it wasn't a well-known artist, but it was not Native American. So we got to be really careful what we label Native American because that I just assumed when I bought it. So I assumed wrong.
Did
But
I ever tell you about my jewelry in the garage story?
yeah, your Indian
Yeah,
factory that you had.
depending on who was showing up to buy in bulk, we would grab one of the different stamps and stamp the jewelry with their mark. So it appeared to be from their tribe. So
And
yeah,
that's
that's
why
a
I'm careful. Yep.
19-year-old long-haired kid in a garage in Phoenix.
Yep. And look, Lynn, I use turquoise. I don't ever
As
label
you
it.
could.
This one I decided I was sure on. I was sure that that was actual turquoise. So usually
I'm
I'm
sure it
a big
was.
chicken and don't do it. But for a Kramer necklace, I was happy to take an offer at $200. I've never sold a Kramer necklace for $200 before. I found this in a lot on eBay.
That's pretty.
It was a very pretty one. Yeah, I didn't really have any comps to go by on this so much. I couldn't find one like it. But I thought, well, if we can't find one like it, I'm just going to price it high and take an offer. So I think I had like $2 into it. So I was okay with this. This one, it is sterling, and it is scarab. It's a nicer scarab sterling bracelet. And I got the 91.85 after the coupon. But I will say that when you're looking at different, I'm trying to find a picture of the whole thing. Maybe I didn't even take one. You will see there's different levels of these scarab bracelets. You know, you got to know which ones. Like this one was like like actual stones in there. It was a nicer one. Because there's lots of ones that kind of look like this that are more in the $30 range. So this one surprised me a little bit. I think I took it off for a 54 is what it ended up being, but I
Wow,
didn't
and
really
it's not branded.
nope.
I guess it's the intaglio design that's on it. It's different.
And I had comps to go by on this one. So otherwise I probably would have missed it actually. But there were some similar that sold it for the higher amount. So this one was all jacked up and I don't think it's gold. I didn't see gold markings. It does look like it might be gold filled, like that old gold filled. And I did have comps to go by on this. Sold pretty quick.
I
Didn't have any
love them
glass on it.
things.
or anything. Yeah, it was all broke. So that's what I had for those, and I'll show you the set that and this is definitely priced high for sure. I mean, I know that I will take an offer on this, I'm sure. I am not going to get my high price. I don't think. I have watchers already, but
Wow.
it's a convertible. So see how it's a brooch and a fur clip? Which I don't know. I had gotten this a long time ago. I'd gotten it in that bathtub jewelry lady stuff. And I put it in the queue. I hadn't really thought much of it because it's lucite. It's not even glass. But when I comp them, they're pretty darn good. Apparently there's not a lot of them out there, or maybe they
It's gorgeous.
Yeah, it's interesting.
and the sold comps are pretty good. So I decided I would keep it together as a set for now and see if I can get somebody to bite, and I'll take an offer.
I
I
think you're
didn't
better
pay.
off selling it as a set.
Yeah,
Because
I kind of hope so. But if not, the earrings alone are comping, really, really good. So I'd never seen this before, but I felt kind of silly after I hadn't really thought about it even being in there. And since it was plastic, I was like, and then it ended up being pretty good. So
great
Can you go
condition
back
too.
down to the back of the earrings?
yep.
Are you sure them aren't dress clips?
So I thought the same thing. I think they are dress. I don't know. They're listed as earrings everywhere. They look like dress
That
clips to
looks
me
like a
too.
dress clip back.
It, I would agree with that.
Did you open
Uh,
them up and see if they had the little prongs? Because
yes, and
a dress
that's,
clip would have prongs on it, not earrings.
I don't know. I probably
That's
should.
true.
I'll pull them and look again. I think they do remind me of dress clips too. But everywhere has them listed as earrings, so I don't really know.
But it's not like they have a piece that it all fits together, or is it missing the piece that would hold it together?
No, and I couldn't find any. I thought that too. I thought that they were maybe I agree with you. I thought maybe it was a piece that had it together too, but I didn't see anywhere that had them like that. But I don't find a lot of this set anywhere. It seems to be kind of, I don't know if because it was plastic, a lot of them got broke. I
That's
may look into it
interesting.
more. A collector is going to know what they're looking at.
Right.
I hope, because I didn't. So,
You haven't
and
got
then
any
yeah,
questions about it?
no, not yet. I imagine it's coming. And then I'll be like, hell if I know. And then I found this in that bathtub lady stuff too. It was just sitting in my, it was sitting in my, it was just chilling in my, I don't know. I don't remember coming across it or anything. Just went in my queue like any other day, but
Typical Shriner cut stone on there, the
hmm
pointed ones.
yep, I would agree. It's signed and
That's big.
it is big. hmm It's got the crinkly around the outside.
Cupcake.
There's one stone that is offset just a little bit, like it's not quite in there, and I'm not trying to get it. But there's see how I am like bad with speaking today. How the setting's a little
Prongs.
different on that one. Yep. So anyway, that was a shock to me when I came across it too. I was like, oh, that's a signed piece there. So that was
It's
me.
fine in your box
Uh,
of listings.
It wasn't in a death pile. It was in a queue. I just was listing that morning and I was like, that's pretty good.
I have a couple.
Well,
This
I'd love
one.
to see them. Ooh, that's pretty.
So I bought this one expecting to list it for probably 59, 69, 79. I don't know. I was going to do a little more research. And I got it home and it's got this what I thought was a cracked stone. And then the more I looked at it, this is the best picture for it. It's got this like peel mark, like a layer is peeled off of it. And I've never seen that before. And
Hmm.
anyway, I put it up just closed that for $38.99, thinking somebody's gonna lowball me at, 20, 25, and it sold immediately. And then I'm thinking, okay, did I underprice that? And what is wrong with the stone? Have you ever seen a stone, like just a thin layer peeled? And I messaged her and told her, are you aware of this, flaw? And she said, yeah, that's no problem. So I probably could have sold it for more, but I'm still happy with $38.99. I did pay, I think, $10 for it, but not knowing that it had that crack. But it's still good sale. But
I love those white enamel. When I get the West Germany ones with that white enameling, I always just think it looks so.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yep, that adds value to it for some reason. I don't know what it is, but people love them. And then
Mhm.
this one I sold for $69.99. That didn't take but maybe 2 or 3 days to sell.
That is gorgeous.
I just saw
Really,
that set somewhere.
I showed it to you. I
Oh,
sent
okay.
you
I'm like, I've seen
pictures.
this set. Yeah. I think it's really
Yeah.
cool. I like that
That's
set.
cool. I haven't seen that
yeah,
one before.
I love it.
Mhm.
Would you call them strawberries? Because everybody else
Uh,
was.
Yeah,
I thought
Yeah.
acorns would be
what I saw.
Yeah, I see strawberries.
Okay.
Huh.
I was contemplating that. All right, that's it. That's all I have.
I love them. I think Larry had some stuff, but your camera's not working, Larry.
Yeah, but I can share my screen. I had about 4 different things. I'll try to go quick.
Oh, you're fine.
Share my screen. One, what site do you go to or suggest for identifying? Am I sharing? You see a big
Yep.
chain.
Yes.
Hmm.
Um, where would I go to learn different link size names or what would you
For
call
different
this for different chains?
for different types of chains.
Yeah.
There's this awesome one called Market Square Jewelers that I use. I have it on my bookmark. I'll put it in the
Okay, great.
chat.
What would you guys call this? I've seen this, but it's also this is a I think this is a Monet, but it's this chain type I've seen before. But I mean, they've got some unique stuff going on with this texture as well as this kind of this indent or the reduced layer. But either way, what would you call this? How would you describe this chain?
I don't know that I would even get that detailed.
Okay,
I would just say
that
serpentine.
that
Yeah,
works.
flat. You
Okay,
could say
Flat. Yep,
inset,
that's my word.
so
textured,
that works. Let me move on.
inset.
So I'm on Facebook Marketplace yesterday looking for hard goods, right? Because I've got more than jewelry than I know what to do with right now. And I find this personal home, uh, what's the word? Independent estate sale, right? It's a brother and dealing with mom and dad's and grandpa's estate. And I show up and I walk in the door and I've been contacting with the guy for days trying to get in there, and I did finally yesterday. Um, First thing he says, "Is there anything in particular you're looking for?" And I said, "My standard, which is, do you have any golf clubs? Do you have any jewelry?" And he says, "Well, we got some golf clubs in the attic. You probably don't want them." And he was right. He said, "But we've got a couple of boxes of jewelry. Let me go do that." And then he showed me the house and he showed me how to get to the attic. And so I spent about an hour in the attic. I was digging around, whatever. I created a pretty good sized pile of, Cabbage Patch Kids and some original uh, doll clothes and a bunch of other weird stuff. A brass bust of Nefertiti, whatever her name is. Anyway, a bunch of weird stuff that I picked up. And then the guy said, "Oh yeah, and I got the jewelry here." And there was 2 boxes, and I scored like you guys probably would love to score every day. Boy, I wish I could score like this every day. I'm gonna start with the easy stuff here. This was a simple little brooch in here, and I'm just showing this because I don't really know that much about it, but it is a BSK, right? Not a high end. Pretty good size. I mean, it's probably 2.5 inches, 3 inches in diameter. So that was one that I was really excited about. Well, what would you list this at? Or is BSK already?
It's a baby tooth pearl one, and they're listed at about $30. I already comped it.
Thank you.
Oh, I was just
Okay.
gonna say I would have to comp it because it's BSK, you think less, but with
Yeah.
them stones in it, yeah,
Yeah,
that
and
should be.
they don't appear to be they might be plastic, I don't know, but
26 to 30 is what they're
yeah.
bringing.
And what would you call that? Would these be, that's obviously faux pearls, but
Those
would
Yes,
are
you
baby
even,
tooth
baby
pearls.
tooth.
Use that word. Make sure you use that word, baby
oh,
tooth.
and that describes these little white ones, these guys?
Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay, let me move on. It does, okay, so now let me go over to this one. Which is cool. In there were these two things. The one on the left is a brooch. The one on the right is a pendant. This appears to be carved from one surface.
It
Um,
does look like shell.
because I zoomed in on the intersection of the white with the color and the
So all
carving.
cameos are carved usually from one surface.
Yeah, and if I hold it up to light, I can see light through it. And that's a good
What?
thing, right?
Yes. Is the back domed?
See, I don't
Um,
know that that's yellow shell at me.
hang on a second. I don't know that the back is domed
I
of this
think it
one.
looks very resiny, but
I don't know.
Yeah,
I kind of
it does
question.
have a shiny surface to it, and I didn't see any tooling marks. I don't know if you can see if you zoom in
so
on
a
it.
shell one's going to be completely translucent for the most part.
And
I mean, like
Yeah.
you see all the way through.
Yes, and that pretty much is the
Clear.
case. Oh, not clear, but I can see a
Oh
light.
yeah, they're very translucent. The shell ones are very.
Okay.
like you can see the shadow of her on it.
Yes, but the part around it is totally clear when you hold it up to a light. Like you can like wax paper almost.
Okay. Okay. So that is not this. So this is probably a resin.
And I
I'm
think
no
if it was
cameo.
shell, it would be bezel set in there. I think she's
Yeah.
I
right.
think so too.
Yeah. These pins
Those
here.
are the cheap settings.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then
And
this
like
one
the one,
definitely looks cheaper.
Really, because I
and
felt like it looked more carved than the other one.
Okay.
it, yeah, I feel that too with the fancier setting and the bezel set. And usually the bezel set is shaped around the shape of the, um, and you
See how
can see
that's
the
crimped in?
marks.
Yeah, I agree. And she's got kind of an ugly nose, but sometimes that means somebody actually carved it. Sometimes the ones that are too perfect, sometimes they're either worth really good money or they're the cookie cutter one. And I
Right.
agree, Meg says it looks like that girl. It does
Yeah,
have
the
a
other
Disney
one,
girl
the
look
big
to it.
one does. The big one, Larry, you'll see all the time. Like when you start looking at cameos a lot, like that exact face is on like a million of the like plastic ones.
So not knowing a lot about cameos, I should avoid keywords, as far as material, or do you have any suggestions on how I would
If you
list these?
don't figure out what it is, you're going to get a million questions or you're going to get a return.
Yeah.
So if you use the word cameo, technically, so I'm not saying I don't do this. This is a do what I say, don't do as I do thing. Cameos are supposed to be, like you're supposed to be able to attribute it. Most of the time they're shell, cameo shell. If you put cameo on a resin one and somebody buys it thinking it's shell, then they're going to be ticked off.
So
So
what
I
would you
put,
call it if, because this one does, it feels to me like it's not stone. It feels like it was poured.
Yeah, it looks plastic more with that shine to it.
Right. So what would you call this? Or would you throw it in the
Resin.
trash?
a resin, yeah, it's resin.
But is it a resin cameo?
Not
Yes.
technically, but I would call it that
Yeah.
too. Technically it's
Oh,
not,
yeah.
but yes, that's what I
And
call it.
Yeah.
I do the same thing.
okay, and the other one's nice too because it's 12 karat gold filled, or at least
See, and
the
that's a good sign too. So like when
yeah.
they sit and they put those settings the way that little one is, it's because they don't want to lose it. Like they're, making sure it doesn't fall out because it's valuable. And if it's set in good metal, that's another good sign.
Yeah. Okay. So let me move on. And now this is the punchline for the day. And again, this was a crazy house. They had 3 deaths in the family in like 2 months. Mom, dad, and grandpa all died back to back to back. And the house was packed. And the guy moved there just to process the house. And he handed me these box of jewelry, 2 boxes of jewelry. I put them in my box. I started loading stuff on top of it. And when I was all said and done, I paid $100 for a big pile of stuff, including 16 grams of 14 karat gold,
Nice.
is like 800 bucks.
What a
750.
good shopper you are, Larry.
You you got to cut down on that a little bit because of the
got
stones in there.
stones.
Yeah,
But
yeah, that's true. That's true. These two have a really cool, unique marking. They're identical. They have gold, or I mean, diamonds around the perimeter, and on the inside it says 0.75 carat. So,
Hmm.
it's a mass produced,
Are you sure that's what that means? Because that would be very unusual.
it says 14K. It has the name, which is Leenook, Lenar, something like that, Lenar. Anyway,
Have you
they
tested
sound
it?
like they test as 14 karat gold. They sound like bells when you tap on them. They're real. I mean, this is definitely gold here for these two. What was your question? Anyway, I'm sure not all of this is gold. I'm sure this is less than 800 bucks, but I'm sure I'll
Yeah,
get
you'll still come out
it as
fine. Yeah.
well. So that was kind of cool. I gotta find my diamond tester. I'm pretty sure this is not a diamond because that would be huge. And this is only a 14K setting. But anyway, and then the other piece of
Let's,
this,
I got a question on that one that might be a large diamond.
yes.
Would you still, like pull out the diamond and sell the gold? Or,
If it's a real diamond, I don't know. I'll let the person who's buying the scrap gold from me, take it out.
oh, okay, so you just sell it as is.
I don't know. What do you guys suggest? I'm probably going to take it to my jeweler or probably not a pawn shop. I was thinking of selling these two online because they have a very strong maker's mark, with cool, they look really nice.
Okay, so you're
but-
thinking sell those as jewelry.
That's my initial thought because there's approximately $150 to $175 in gold in each one.
I would not sell those as jewelry. If those are actual gold, I would not. Not on eBay anyway. You're gonna be better off scrapping it and not paying fees.
Okay.
And somebody's gonna get it and say, I tested it, it wasn't 14 karat gold, and they're gonna send you an ordinary ring like that that's not got gold in it. That's my experience.
Okay.
What do you think, Lynn? Lynn might sell it as jewelry. I get burned on that stuff.
no, I don't like to sell. If it's just like a solid gold piece, no, I wouldn't sell it on eBay because there's just somebody looking to make money on it. There's nobody buying it to buy it to wear because they're not going to buy it from eBay. They're going to go to their jeweler. The diamond one,
It's
I
marked
was kind of
14K. It tests
questioning.
14K.
Yeah, that one, I mean, you might be able to sell on eBay to somebody that's wanting to give somebody an engagement ring or something. But I I still think they're going to try to get it from you for scrap price.
And then you
Right.
got eBay fees when you could take it to the gold guy, get your
Exactly.
scrap price without fees.
Right. Right. And is the
The
gold guy?
pearl one, you might be able to.
Yeah, the pearl one's different. I mean, this thing is chunky, man. It has some heft to it. It's not signed, but it does say 14K.
And
But
that tested. Lots of
yes,
times those are
I
plated.
tested all of these and it tested 14K.
Then
Did you
that's
go deep? 'Cause
probably a
lots of those
real
are
pearl.
Yeah, if it is, yeah, I agree with that. That would be a real pearl then, because lots of those are 14K plated. But if you got down deep enough then I agree that would be a real pearl probably.
Right. And so I just got to call my jeweler and see if he buys scrap. I gotta come up with a source for dumping.
You need to find a gold buyer. Jewelers, in my
Right.
opinion, never give the best price.
And then
Like
the
they
other
will
was
buy it, but sell it to a gold guy, not a jewelry guy.
this pile just kept growing and growing and growing. This is all sterling. And I have a couple of Native American rings in here. I've got a whole bunch of, Mexico,
Nice.
whatever, TEX, that some
Yes,
state in Mexico.
Tax code.
Taxco is a TAXCO.
Okay, well, it's something else. A few of these are hollow, but they test. This one here is hollow.
Was that all from yesterday?
Yeah, this was that one purchase that I paid. I estimated, I just said, okay, 20 for that and 20 for this and blah, blah, blah. How about 80? And the guy says, ooh, that sounds low. How about 100? And I said, yeah, okay. Because when I looked in the box, I saw tons of plastic. I saw tons of, Chico style weirdness, some really weird things. And the guy described it as that he goes, you probably don't want this. And I said, well, I'll tell you what, let me just put it in my pile. But as I quickly looked down, I saw a number of small boxes that had, 7 or 8 gold pieces in it. It's like this is standalone. They separated them. These were from Grandpa or whatever, and there were about 4 or 5 of those boxes. And so then I shut them quickly. I put them in the pile. I was like, yeah, okay, I think I'll take this. With an estimate that some of it was going to be real gold and some of it was. So anyway, this was my
So
yesterday.
is that pile right there sterling?
Yes.
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 I just figured the price on scrap on that is only $32.
Yep.
Or is that 371?
371.
371. Yep.
Oh, let me change that.
So add a 0 to what number you just gave out.
Yeah, exactly.
three-
$321.
Yeah.
But some of that, so sterling, in my opinion, I've had fairly good luck depending on what it looks like. And the people will pay over scrap for a unique sterling
Yeah.
piece that's signed or unique or so you can
One
get,
that's
I've gotten $200-300 for a
But
sterling
I also
bracelet
see
before.
stones in there.
Yeah,
Yep.
there's only a few. There's a
Okay.
pair of really chunky earrings that have turquoise in them. And there's 1 or 2 that have these little glass beads. And I do have a ring that's it's got I swear it's turquoise, but it's turquoise blue, but it's got a really bizarre darker green going through it. I was going to take a photo of that by itself, but
Yeah, some of
anyway,
that might be worth listing individually.
yeah, I was thinking the same. A couple of these bracelets for sure. I've got a really interesting pair of dangly leaf-looking silver earrings that I'll pull out, but a lot of it's just boring little chains or broken pieces of stuff that tested positive. Anyway,
No, that's good. I like
yeah.
signed sterling. Sometimes it goes really well.
Well, thanks for letting me roll the floor
for
there
sure.
for a few.
Right. I did have I told them this last night. So I traded my junk boxes for some signed costume jewelry, and I think I ended up having like a good 2-gallon bag full of like individually listable items. There was no like super home runs or anything, but they were all pretty solid. But I got like, I don't know, like 7 sets of signed coral thermoset, like the confetti lucite, and then like some of it was the solid thermoset. It had the bracelet, the necklace, and the earrings, and some had a brooch with them. So that's all great, but every single set had 3 earrings. Like, why? Why do we have 3 earrings to all of our sets? All the sets have 3 earrings. I found that very strange, but I've
Dress
never.
clip? Dress clip?
Oh no, they were earrings. They were definitely earrings.
Hmm.